So these are the four types of speaking skills. The first one is fluency. Fluency is about how comfortable and confident you are in speaking English. If you can speak for an extended period of time, that is an indicator of strong fluency. It is also about showing a clear connection between each point that you are trying to make. This skill means that the listener can follow what you are saying and does not get lost. So fluency is the ability to read a text accurately, quickly, and with expression. Reading fluency is important because it provides a bridge between word recognition and comprehension. So what is expression in reading fluency? Expression in fluency refers to the ability to read in a way that sounds like spoken language. This means that a child uses appropriate emotion to read aloud, pauses for periods and commas, and emphasizes important words. Fluency is defined as the ability to speak or write a language. An example of fluency is being able to speak French. So the second one is the vocabulary. Vocabulary, of course, if you don't have the words to say what you want to say, then you cannot say it. Being a good speaker means constantly growing your vocabulary. The more interesting words you know, the stronger your speaking skills. Vocabulary refers to the words we must understand to communicate effectively. Educators often consider four types of vocabulary: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening vocabulary refers to the words we need to know to understand what we hear. Speak vocabulary consists of the words we use when we speak. Vocabulary is all the language and words either used or understood by a person or group of people. An example of vocabulary is all the words that a toddler understands. An example of vocabulary is the language used by doctors, the stock of words used in a particular field. The third one is the grammar, the dreaded G word. Grammar does matter, and the fewer mistakes you make, the better your speaking skill will be. However, do not worry about making mistakes either. A good speaker does not have to use perfect grammar. Certainly, though, it is a good idea to make sure that you have mastered the major tenses. So the grammar is the study of the way words are used to make sentences. An example of grammar is how commas and semicolons are supposed to be used. It is also the rules of how words are used in a language or speech or writing judged according to the rules of grammar. In linguistics, the grammar of a natural language is a set of structural constraints on speakers or writers' composition of clauses, phrases, and words. The last one is the pronunciation. Pronunciation is a complex area with a lot of sub-skills that can be practiced. The basic rule of thumb is that an average speaker can speak and be understood. A skilled speaker can use the sub-skills of pronunciation to emphasize and make the communicative effect of their speech more impactful. Skills of pronunciation include word and sentence stress, intonation, rhythm, and the use of the individual sounds of a language. A good way to practice your pronunciation is to copy. Simply listen to how someone with good pronunciation speaks and try to imitate them as closely as possible. Pronunciation is the way in which a word or a language is spoken. This may refer to generally agreed upon sequences of sounds used in speaking a given word or language in specific dialect, or simply the way a particular individual speaks a word or language. Here are the types of public speaking. The first one is the ceremonial speaking. Most people will give some sort of ceremonial speech during their lifetime. These speeches mark special occasions. They are common at weddings, graduations, and funerals, as well as large birthday celebration and office holidays parties. There are 8 common forms of ceremonial speaking: introduction, presentation, acceptance, dedication, toast, roast, eulogy, and farewell. Speeches of introduction are designed to introduce a speaker. Speeches of presentation are given when an individual is presenting an award of some kind. The goal of ceremonial speech is to captivate an audience and create a felt sense in response to the situation of occasion. The second one is the demonstrative speaking. Science demonstrations and role-playing are types of demonstrative speaking. This type of public speaking requires being able to speak clearly and concisely to describe actions and to perform those actions while speaking. A demonstrative speaking may explain the process behind generating power while cycling to power a toaster. A demonstrative speech also teaches you something. The main difference lies in including a demonstrations on how to do the thing you're teaching. Some examples of demonstrative speech is how to start your own blog or how to bake a cake. A demonstrative speech is one which you will demonstrate to your audience how to do something. It is easiest to decide on a topic if you start with a verb, such as how to do something, how to make something, how to fix something. The third type of public speaking is the informative speaking. With informative speaking, the speaker is trying simply to explain a concept to the audience members. College lecture courses involve informative speaking, as do industry conference and the public officials sharing vital information. In this type of speaking, the information is what is important. The speaker is not trying to get others to agree with him or to show them how to do something for themselves. Rather, he is disseminating vital information. Informative speaking generally centers on talking about people, events, processes, places, or things. Informing an audience about one of the subjects without being persuasive is often a difficult task to complete. The last type of public speaking is persuasive speaking. Persuasive speaking tends to be the most glitzy. Politicians, lawyers, and clergy members use persuasive speaking. This type of speaking requires practicing voice inflections and nuances of language that will convince the audience members of a certain viewpoint. The persuasive speaker has a stake in the outcome of the speech. An example of persuasive speech is a sales speech. During a sales speech, the speaker is trying to convince the audience to buy his or her product or service. If the salesperson is successful, the audience, the person being sold to, will choose to purchase the product or service. Persuasive speaking is the type of speaking that most people engage in the most. This type of speech can involve everything from arguing about politics to talking about what to eat for dinner. Persuasive speaking is very connected to the audience, as the speaker must, in a sense, meet the audience halfway.